There's this, Bill Kristol sent out a tweet about just echoing what David just said. Bill Kristol, well-known conservative voice, of course. Here's what he said. I don't know why this one makes me so emotional, but it does. 2 weeks ago, a 26-year-old soldier raced repeatedly into a burning Bronx apartment building, saving 4 people before he died in the flames. His name was Private Emmanuel Mensah, and he immigrated from Ghana, a country Donald Trump apparently thinks produces very subpar immigrants. I don't know why the president doesn't know that.
So, a CNN anchor is bawling her eyes out after covering Donald Trump's remarks about certain countries being shitholes. Now, they've got a couple of ideologues on to discuss this topic, and we're going to check it out.
Here's a couple of things, Allison, and you have me emotional because of your emotion, and trying to report without getting emotional. You have a president, and the onus is on those who, in this country, who voted for him or didn't vote. And I think back to something Maya Angelou said, when someone shows you who they are the first time, believe them. The African-American community was screaming when he kept saying, "Make America great again." That was cold. When was America great? What time period were you talking about?
Now, I despise when people say that America was never great, when it has granted freedoms to people from other countries that, in their own countries, they wouldn't have today. Such as, let's pick Africa, for example. And yet, so in the first breath you say that Africa, Haiti, all of them, they're just completely fine, amazing countries. In the second breath, you want us to send them aid, because they apparently require tons and tons of aid all the time, yet they're incredible. And third, you're saying that America and the West are just completely awful. We're racist, sexist, blah, blah, blah. Why are people flocking en masse to the West, if the West is just so incredibly awful?
And then you have a president who could not get it right when it came to issues of Charlottesville. And then he's going to change the narrative from the NFL players about taking the knee. It was about police-involved shootings. It wasn't about the flag. Right. It wasn't about the soldiers. And it wasn't about this country. It was about changing the dynamic to stop what's been going on for hundreds of years.
I'm really glad that you interviewed all those people and found out exactly why they were protesting. It seemed like they were protesting everything under the sun. But I'm really glad we've got an ideologue here to tell us exactly what they mean, because she spent, I don't know, months interviewing all the protesters, finding out exactly why they're doing what they're doing. And every time an ideologue says Charlottesville, I'm just going to bring up the Black Lives Matter guy that sniped 5 police officers. I'm so sick of them just being like Charlottesville, and I'm like, oh, okay, we've won. We've mentioned Charlottesville. It was a reaction to years-long campaign by you ideologues saying that all white people are just awful. I don't know what you expect. I honestly don't.
You have a president who today, and this is the irony, today will celebrate MLK Day at the White House.
I mean, it just adds to all of the emotion, and it adds to the horror of...
Right. And but listen to this. And then you also, today is the 8th anniversary of that deadly earthquake in Haiti.
Yeah.
But you also have a president who can't get the name of Tanzania right. He calls it Tanzania.
All of that is completely irrelevant. Donald Trump not being able to say Tanzania correctly is meme-worthy, but it doesn't help your argument. And what? Because you guys celebrate MLK today, that means you should just let all black people in that want to come in? Is that your argument? Because one black guy does some amazing things in your country, you should just let all black people in indiscriminately of what they've actually done? Yeah, it doesn't help your argument. You're not showing Donald Trump's racist, you're not showing he's ignorant on this point whatsoever. You're just virtue signaling.
He continues to do that. Africa, and we have to really look at the fact. We've had presidents from Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, and George W. Bush who really tried to work with Africa.
Yeah.
He's basically saying Africa and Haiti don't exist. And Africa is very important. And I'm going to say this, and there's a big reason why, and he needs to focus in on Africa and not look at them as a loser country. Africa has issues of terrorism in countries that are not democratically ruled, but you also have a greatness in Africa.
Look, Africa's obviously not a completely awful country. There are some very good people there, but it has massive problems, ideologue. They're currently killing white farmers because they're white, and their country is starving even more because apparently all the black people in there can't farm. Their rape statistics are off the chart. There basically no women's rights. And I'm sorry, but different cultures produce different people. If I grew up in a culture where slavery was accepted, I would be a worse person than if I grew up in a culture where slavery was not accepted. Do you understand this? And so America and Americans would statistically be better than Africans. But you don't understand this whatsoever. You just find one person, politicize their death, so you're disgusting ideologues. That hero ran into a building to save people, and you're using him for your own political agenda. Congratulations. I really, really dislike people that use someone else's death to gain political points. So you can cry all you like. You can call her an amazing person. It doesn't make her one. Facts don't give a shit about your feelings.
Mineral rich. I mean, Africa, it has oil there. We could work with them. China is working with them, building infrastructure
you can't
to
overlook
work
the
to get oil.
continent of Africa, for sure.
That's what I'm saying, and you cannot. So this president doesn't understand it's not just a racial issue. He doesn't understand the issue of diplomacy and what Africa and Haiti bring, and El Salvador bring to the global community and to the United States of America.
Let's just say America and all the Western countries stopped all foreign aid to Africa for a year. How would that country fare? Let's say 10 years. Let's say all Western countries were like, you know what, we give up on Africa. Let them deal with it themselves. There'd be mass deaths, I'm guessing. So what you've got to understand is that what America provides to Africa is a lot more than what Africa could ever provide to America. And I wouldn't say Donald Trump doesn't understand diplomacy when the South Korean leader says that Donald Trump was a massive part of getting North Korea to talk with South Korea. Barack Obama's just sit back and watch the world explode, you know, line in the sand, someone walks over, oh, who cares? Hasn't worked. You ideologues. But yeah, get the woman to cry again. That really actually helps your case a lot more than anything you'd ever say. Because at least some stupid idiots that watch CNN will be emotionally manipulated into believing her.
Look, he's tweeting this morning. We should say he's defending his immigration stance right now. You know, I think one of the reasons this is so emotional is because this gets to what America is about, right? And what...
And we don't want somebody like this in the country. We don't want somebody who ran into the burning building in the country. I mean, that's just heartbreaking.
I'm sorry to break it to you, love, but not all immigrants are like that hero there. They're just not. I'm guessing you also take the position that immigrants are just better than Americans. Even the illegal aliens are better than Americans. So just because one person does something good doesn't mean you're just like, okay, well, let's just let them all in. I'm so sick of the Democrats just picking one person and being like, how could you possibly not want this person in your country, and then conflating it to mean all people from that country.
You don't want people who suffer. You don't want people who come from places where things are bad. You also
don't want people who aren't blonde and blue-eyed. You want
only, apparently.
Yes, that's what I mean. You don't want people who are not blonde and blue-eyed. You want just Norwegians.
So we also have racist ideologues. Donald Trump has never said anything that would make anyone remotely believe that he only exclusively wants blonde-haired, blue-eyed people to come into the country. Norway is the richer country in the world. Africa is incredibly poor. He's comparing the two. Obviously, you'd want people from Norway because they're more well-educated and then be able to contribute to your country. I'm sorry, but no one has the right to come to America. And why would you want to bring someone in that's just going to make your country worse? I just heard Riley Dennis, a.k.a. the massive hypocrite, is moving to Sydney, Australia, from one Western country to another, after his channel is basically devoted to showing how terrible the West is and how we oppress everyone, blah, 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 and then he moves to Sydney, Australia. See, now, I wouldn't want him coming into my country, because he's just going to make it worse. He believes that if I call him what it is, in reality, a guy, that's a hate crime. He wants censorship like crazy. He's basically the new Steve Shives. So I don't care about skin color. I care about ideas. I care about who's going to be able to help the country, and obviously I'm guessing Donald Trump does as well. And I'm doing a video on Riley Dennis moving to Sydney, Australia, because, like I said, it's just massively hypocritical. Why are you moving to another Western country? Why aren't you moving to, say, Africa? I hear it's fantastic. The bastion of freedoms.
You know, and David, that's where this transcends a debate about immigration to a debate about America. And people in America right now need to look inwards and figure out how they feel about what is being said.
Look, the president's disapproval is so high because he's made himself such a narrow-thinking and narrow-governing political figure who is not expanding his base and who's not really reflective of America. He's reflective of a strain of populism in this country, and that did result in his election. And from Charlottesville to these comments, a pattern of hateful ignorance that only bolsters a record of racist attitudes that he brought into the campaign and that predate his time even thinking about politics.
I don't watch much of CNN because it just really boils my blood. But you're actually cancerous. It must be so easy being a guest on this show. Just get a list of buzzwords and just read them out. He's a racist, he's a sexist, his base is racist, blah blah blah. Not an argument. Okay? It is not racist for Donald Trump to say Africa is a shithole. It might not be nice, it might be incredibly crude, but you can't say that it's a great country and then say that it needs just tons of help because all the citizens are starving to death. You can't have both of these positions. It just doesn't work.
So this is the pattern that's clear, and what you've got now is congressional leadership that continues to be afraid of poking the bear.
They're complicit. They are complicit in this.
They are afraid to do anything that will get in the way of their business, so they hold their nose and keep at it. The difficulty the president has should be obvious, which is if he's going to negotiate with Democrats at all, they're going to want to know that there's something of good faith and not just publicity stunts and this kind of erratic behavior. And somebody's going to take a stand, and it's most likely going to be the Democrats in this case.
Guys, thank you very much for having this really important conversation. I feel a little lame for getting emotional, but if Phil Mudd, that tough guy from the CIA who can snap a man's neck with his bare hands, if he can get emotional and teary as he was about all of this, then I guess it's all free game for all of us.
So you're trying to use emotional manipulation, and you're a news anchor. If a tweet and him saying that Africa's a shithole of a country brings you to tears, you need another job. You could cover wars. You cover terrorist attacks, famines, diseases. And this brings you to tears. And it's just to push your own political agenda as well. You're trying to appeal to people's emotions. But I'm sorry, not everyone is that hero. Stop using his death to push your political agenda, because I find that one of the most disgusting things anyone can possibly do. He is a hero. So stop using him just like a tool, like a pawn. Oh, look at this guy. He saved some people. Thus, everyone from his country must be amazing. No. I can point you to heaps of Americans that have saved people's lives. Can I use the same logic then?
David Gregory.
Allison, it's your humanity. It's your humanity. It's your humanity, and that is appreciated.
Thank you, April. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you and everything that you have said in this conversation. Listen, I'm just very grateful that we can all have this conversation about the importance of this today. David Gregory.
No, Gregory didn't weigh in there.
Yes,
he had nothing nice to say about what you said.
Yes,
That's
he
okay.
did. I feel it from
All
David Gregory.
Anyway, I'm done with CNN. They're just a bunch of ideologues, as you can see. To the person that is bawling her eyes out over a comment, I would highly suggest finding another line of work, as you've got to be relied on to cover much worse topics than this. And if this is what just brings you to tears, then yeah, I don't think you're suited whatsoever. So I've got an AK livestream celebration and a thank you video coming up. I'm currently working on a PUBG hacking video. I just got the game. anyone that plays PUBG, please come message me on Discord, Twitter, or Facebook. I'm trying to get some people together to play with the end goal of getting 100 people so we can have a massive game and I can live stream it. It'll be a ton of fun. So as I said, I'm on Twitter, Facebook. I've just got Patreon. Thank you so very much to my first Patreon. I really appreciate it, mate. I've got a ton more videos coming up. My Flash video is nearly done and processing. So, yeah. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll catch you later.